Hi everyone, welcome to this new video, part 3 of our series of tutorial about the car modeling. So part 1 modeling, part 2 make it look a little bit cartoony, and part 3 UV, part 4 texturing. I'm Brian, artist for It's Fine Game Studios, and today I'm gonna explain how I UV this car, which technique I used, and what you should be aware of when you UV something as a car. So you will see sometimes in the video, like I got a little bit rusty. I haven't done like UV for a little bit of time, so I did need to like get back. So as you could see, I just went to the over there. I just need to like change something. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So I went to in the option, just in the plugin manager, just to turn on the unfold little thing, because I don't know why in 2016 it kept like disappeared. So the technique I'm using now is just basically I can like with the UV now you can see the faces that you don't need, so you can like delete the faces that you don't need. I just realized I selected by mistake one of the face over there, so I just like undo this stuff. So what we're gonna be aware when we do the UV for the car, we're gonna have to think about the texturing. So you want to do some UV islands where you want to have a different texture. For example, for the light, so you want to have like something for the light, like an emissive and everything. So it make it easier if this light over there, this square, is has its own UV island. And that's the same for windows and for like a whole bunch of stuff. Just copying and like doing like an increment save. It's just security, just so if I screw up the model, I still have like a backup model in my scene and increment save, so I'm sure like I can't fuck up. So what I'm doing now, it's selecting the edges where I want the seam to be, because I did like camera, like based on camera, so I delete one half of the car because I'm gonna have like UV one part and then like copy the part that I UV'd and then merge them and change a little bit my island to have the seam where I want. That's just workflow. I guess if you want, my arms get a little bit like, it's not green on my arms, it's weird. Anyway, what you can do is put your object in the center of the world and use mirror based on world, so you don't have to actually do one part, then copy it, mirror it. It's just like you win maybe like 3 minutes, because the process of like copying, merge and blah 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 will take you like 3 minutes. But in this case, because I'm gonna change my UV island, it can be actually better to work with the object center of the world and just use mirror, because you will see later on but I'm creating all of my UV islands and I didn't think about when I'm gonna merge. I got a bug, so I just restart my, and I didn't think about when I'm gonna actually merge the other parts. And so I unfold one part. For example, you have like the side of the car and then the roof, so you have one side, you unfold it, then you wanna put the other part on top of it, right? So you have like, that's the roof of the car. So you have your seam over there, so you put the other roof of the car, but then you can't, when you're gonna have the seam like in the front of the car, in the middle of the front of the car, then you can't merge with this one, because obviously otherwise the deformation is gonna be too intense. So what you wanna do then, that's gonna create an island for the top of the car, so you don't have a seam in the top, and then another UV island for the front of the car. So that's something like, as you can see here, I got already the side of the car, and that's something that I didn't think, I guess, while I was like unwrapping it. So my best recommendation would be take some times at the beginning, like before jumping into like UV unwrap. It's really like take some time, like rotate around your object and really think about the texture and how you wanna, like where you want the seams to be and how you wanna like do it. So what I'm doing now, it's just like cleaner way, because when you have like some weird triangle, and changing my music so when you have like some weird triangle, it can create some really weird stuff in the during the texture. For example, if you have a really long triangle, really small, and then next to it you have like a bigger triangle, really long as well, and then another one, the triangle which is really small, you can't texture it properly. If you use Substance Painter, that doesn't work. So what I'm doing now, it's the option over there, just to see where I have like where the UVs do like stretch. Just keep in mind to save your work before you enable this option, because really often, well, maybe not in 2016, that's which I'm using now. In 2015, it used to crash quite a lot. So that's something like just to keep in mind. So that's really helpful to see actually where you have to unwrap your UV a little bit more. So you see like on the left over here, so that's somewhere like you need then to cut it and create like a new edge loops. So that's what I'm doing now. So you can like unwrap it, and then you see that this one is coming actually on top of the other one on the roof. So you want to create a new UV island for this one, because obviously you can have like overlapping UV, otherwise it doesn't work for texture and light map. A light map, that's something, it's a third thing. Like now, like Unreal creates light map for you. It's just basically auto unwrapping. So you might want to like do your own light map as well, which has to stay in this square. Like you can't have objects out of the square, which you can have in texture. With light map, you can't. So what I'm doing now is just like basic unfolding. So you do have the option that's maybe a little bit too small, like the option over there, but yeah, you have like your tools to cut. So what I use, like usually that's to cut it. Even for me, like I can't really see it on the screen. It's like really, really small. And then like, yeah, having this one to unfold it and try to get as more white as you can with the shape, because when it's white means like it's fine. Sometimes it gets red with this tool when it's too small, when your UV island are too small. Something can happen. But I think really the main recommendation I have, it's really UV island about making easier if you texture like in Substance Painter. If you use Photoshop, that's also really, really important. It's way more important where the seams are, because if you have a seam in Substance Painter, like you can paint, and that's gonna paint on both parts at the same time, so you won't really notice the seam. But if you use Photoshop, that's a pain, really a pain to have, trying to get the same stuff on both sides, you know what I mean? Like, so the seam's gonna be really, really, really visible, noticeable if you don't place them in the correct position and placement. I don't know. Now I'm gonna be soon, I guess, ready to copy my mesh. I still get to see. Then like when you create your UV island, then you just select the edge and you just like collide them where you see that it can be collide. Now from like this part, you see like it does overlapping, but I don't want a new UV island. So what I need, when you go and you unfold it and it doesn't work, then you have two options: is create a new UV island, or like, as what I'm gonna do now, is just like merge together some edges, even though that's gonna stretch a little bit too much. So that's gonna like be shown in blue in this example, which for this case doesn't really matter because that's really far away. So even though one part of the car is a little bit more stretched than the other one, so the resolution will be a little bit less important. that can be really annoying in this scenario if you have, for example, plain stuff on the on a FPS, for example, and the player is gonna like walk next to it, and suddenly you have like one part of your object, like your statue or whatever it is, that has like lower resolution, and so that's gonna catch the eye because you have like some neat, nice texture, and suddenly the texture is getting like low res and pretty bad. So I was like, oh yeah, I got some notification after because it was like while I was recording the UV. So as I said before, I was a little bit rusty, I guess, for UV, so I'm taking a little bit too much time to do this. So like same now, you see it was like a little bit overlapping, so, but yeah, I didn't want like a new, so I just like merge them, then like unfold a little bit, and then that's fine. Yeah, I got some notification. I have to like turn it off when I'm recording. It's pretty bad. And one mistake I'm gonna make here, it's I didn't think enough about my UV island, because for this part of the car, in the front, I don't know how you call this, like this metallic stuff that's like protecting the front and the back of the car, I want to have another texture, and I didn't make like in a UV island for that. So later on in Substance Painter, I'm gonna have to create a special mask and go manually select the faces and then smooth it a little bit with the brush, do this kind of job, which is like time consuming. In Maya, when you do your UV island, you say to adjust, up UV, poof, done. It's like 30 seconds, and that's gonna take me like maybe like almost 5 minutes in Substance Painter. Maybe not 5 minutes, but yeah, you get the idea. So everything is about time in the industry. After, like, if you work for yourself, if you're freelance, if you work for someone, for a studio or whatever, you have to be fast. Time like is money, so you can't afford to spend like too much time on details that doesn't need to be like done. Like that's the mistake I'm making right now, because I really want to have a neat unwrapping, like a perfect unwrapping, blah blah blah, and then like I probably don't need it because that's gonna be like so low res anyway in the game. But I think that's fair enough, since we don't really know like yet if we're gonna have zoom like in the game, in which we're gonna see the car like close. So yeah, what I'm doing now is, so I flipped the other part, so I just like copied the other part, merge the edges. You have to merge all of the vertices in the middle. So you select, you go like on the face view, you select all of the vertices, you go edit mesh and merge component, like I think, yeah. And so otherwise your UV are like, you can't have like have the edge, like if you have an edge on the middle, like losing my word, a seam, you can't like collide the seam if the vertices are not together. So that's something like sometimes like, oh, why can that merge like this, remove this seam? It's just because your vertices like flying vert. And that's what I was talking before. It's now I have to change actually the island that I had at the beginning, because now that I don't want a seam in the top of the car, on the back or in the front, I need to create one like UV island for the front, for the top and the back, instead of having like one from the side, which is the top as well, and the front and the back. So that's where I lost some time, because I should have been done like by now. It's in total, like now obviously it's not real time, but in total it took me like 50 minutes. And I think like 50 minutes to unwrap a car, that's a little bit too much. It's just because I'm doing like the work almost twice now because of this problem. So see, I'm creating like the new UV islands. And same, I want like one island for the bottom of the car. And something really useful when you go like in the UV editor, and then you go, I think we can't even see it here, so I just like dragged the window. I was like the window in my other screen, and I just like put it with OBS in the main screen. But yeah, there is an unfold option which is really like fast. You just select every UV, unfold, boom, and then you go like layout, you tick world in the layout, and that's gonna lay out exactly your UV as the same space that they take in the real world. So you're gonna have the same resolution like in every like part of your object. If you don't have UV really like stretch, like I said before. So see now, even though it's red, doesn't mean that's bad. This one is more red because there is like a problem in the UV island. So that's something like that's good to check. See, like if you scale up, it's getting like blue, white, and like you're like, oh yeah, that's good. So sometimes red doesn't mean bad. It's just because it's too small. So my eye is kind of freaking out. And now I have like the chassis of the car underneath. That's something I'm gonna texture as well. I think I won't make a tutorial for that. It's gonna be like really fast, and I've just done the tutorial for texturing the car itself. So that's what I just use now. Just like layouts like perfectly. So then you don't have to like go manually place everything inside, even though there is like some space that I'm not using. So you can maybe have like better. So now I'm not just cleaning a little bit. See like, oh no, it has to be the same UV island of the roof. And then like all of the UV island I have, that's really like, that's what I want. To make sure that the texturing is gonna be faster. So here we go. So that's the small tutorial for the UV. I hope you guys learned something with this. And I will see you guys in the next tutorial about the texturing. Thanks for watching and see you soon.